welcome to Gnomes for Autumn page layout design. So a quick look, halfway done of the set. I had a little bit of trouble recording, so I'm trying to get things in order. So the base of the page, as you can see here, is the photo mat in the center, and then we have our strips of papers and embellishments. But before we go further and I show you a little bit extra embellishments, let's look at the layout, how it started. So my plan was to use 3 stripes. The green one's a little bit thinner, the other 2 are the same size. And then I also used some thin cuts that I made from the Gnomes for Autumn Scrapbooking stamp and thin cut set. And I will link this down below. So the stripes were planned to go from let's say the 2-inch mark all the way to the center of the page, but when I saw that the photo mat actually covers up most of it, I decided just to really cut off most of the strip and just use this little bit that you really see on the page. Beside the green strip, as you can see, that one is completely going all the way through. I inked the stripes up with some Mocha ink to give them a little definition, as well as the photo mat. And then let's go back to our page themselves. So as you can see on the right side, I already had everything set in place. I used some brushes to add a little bit of color on the page, and then I also used this set, which is one of my favorite ones, to put some extra dots on there. And you can sprinkle the dots on there, but with the big background element stamp set here, it's actually super easy to get more controlled splatters on your page, and that's what I'm gonna use. So while everything pretty much is in place on the right side, I will kind of copy and show you what I've done on the other side. So I used Melon ink as well as Mocha ink, and I use the brushes because they're just super soft to add extra color to an otherwise pretty white space on the side there. And I also will stamp on the top there. You see this little bit chocolate piece that's showing. I will gonna stamp that one as well on the other side. So let's put this one down here after I remove the rest of my adhesive, so we can flip it over and use the back side of the VersaMat for stamping, which is awesome. That way you don't have to fudge around with the pouches. Even so, all our stamp sets from Close to My Heart come with an extra pouch for stamping, and you always should put this underneath your project to make sure you get a nice crisp impression. So here we are. Let's put these aside for now, and let's concentrate on where we would like to add some color. So I just wanted a little bit more of color showing on the outside. There was too much white, and I didn't really want an extra cluster. So here I am using, like I said, the background element stamp, and I will link this below too, in Mocha ink, and I'm trying to put that one straight forward on right above, similar to the right side. And you just want to make sure that the more scattered edge is on top. The bottom one is a little bit more straightforward, so I'm just gonna remove this one here and try to get it as even as possible. The good thing is, if I'm too low, I can always go back a little bit, but looks like, yep, that one is a little bit too low. And as you can see, it looks very dark, but the ink, once it's stamped first, it always appears to be a little bit darker. It will lighten up when it dries completely. It's dry to the touch, but still it just has to evaporate a little bit more, and then it's the same chocolatey color as you see on the other side. So here, well, I didn't quite get it right, but that's okay. We just go over it one more time and just get the top part a little bit. And here I'm just covering up a little bit so I get a few more of those edges on top there, and it should be fine. It's just a little extra. It doesn't have to be super even. And then we can just start to concentrate on using the brushes. So just a little bit chamois to clean up. And then we have our dots from the same stem set. And like I said, these are just awesome because that's a really controlled way of getting dots on your page. And I'm using second generation stamping. So that's why you see me stamping it off on this piece of scrap paper. So it's not too dark, but just a little hint of dots all the way around. And as I described earlier, so the green pieces are all the way through, so they're cut, I think 10 by, I would say 2. And the other pieces from the orange and the gnome papers are just cut in squares, so they're a little bit smaller because they disappear under the photo mat. And we're gonna do a couple more here, and it's just a nice extra to make it look a little bit more finished. All right, use your chamois to just clean them up, and we are ready to use our brushes. And for that we need to clean up the papers, and I don't really need a precise location. We're just gonna go where the little dots are, and I start with the Melon ink simply because when I put the brown one down first, the Melon might activate the brown again and pick up a little bit, and then it's just a dirty looking brown that ends up with. So I try to use the Melon first and then just go around with the chocolate a little bit. And I still continue to use the scrap paper, so you can either start with your brush under the photo mat or so to get, you know, the first imprint off, because if you ink it up, it kind of like has a lot of ink on the brush, and I really just want a little bit of the color showing here. So I'm just working my way around the dots and just filling in, you know, the areas that are a little bit wider than I want them to be, and just give it a hint of color. And the brushes are really awesome. These ones I have before, Close to My Heart was carrying their own, so that's why they're a different color, but ours are black and they're a little bit bigger, which is nicer to, the heads are a little bit bigger. It's nicer to get a nice even color on your page. But this is just a cloud of color, and I really like to add this to my pages if I have a lot of white showing. And since I start most of the time with a white daisy cardstock as my base, this is always a nice addition. So I think we're good with that one, and then we should take the mocha and put a little bit mocha on there, and then start to add our papers back and adhere everything down. And here you can see, so see the brown is a little bit darker, so I'm not really pressing very hard. I do light touch just a little bit, and it will dry a little bit lighter too, but I think that's absolutely enough of the brown color, and I think we're almost there. So yeah, and for, as you can see there, I already, let's look at the embellishments that I have on the page on the right side. So these are all from the Gnomes for Autumn stamp and thin cut set, scrapbooking set that came, or that you can order with the special paper. And I just love those sunflowers and those pumpkins. They're so sweet. So I cut them out, and there you can see there's my green strip that goes on the bottom. So this one is the only one that goes all the way through. So the next piece we're gonna adhere is the photo mat, and this is at the same height and flush with the right side of our base cardstock. And then I'm just gonna line up these two pieces, and here you can see that these are not entire whole strips. They're just really pieces. I cut them a little bit longer, so I have on the left side of this page like about an inch space, and it lines up with the 10-inch mark on my VersaMat, which in these cases, these VersaMat really comes in handy to line up things easily. And so all I have to make sure is that I line it up at the 10-inch mark and leave about 1 inch on the right side. And everything else is tucked underneath the photo mat, so it gives you the illusion that the strip is going all the way through and underneath the photo mat. And now that everything is in place, I just final touch is to put in my space holders for the pictures, and I grab the leftover pieces that I intend to use as my cluster. So that's just gonna be another little thing to fuzz around with. Usually it doesn't, that's the longest it takes to finish a page, is to play with all the embellishments and all the different pieces you have. As you can see here, I purposely did a whole bunch of them and I colored them in, and now I can just pick and choose which leaf do I want more green or red or whatever feels right. And it's just a matter of where do you want to place them. So here I'm gonna change out a little bit the clusters on either side, so they're not all the way adhered down yet. And this is the newest thing that's coming in September for you guys to test. So these are colored pencils, and they're like a waxy type of pencil. And the really nice thing is, if you don't push hard on when you're coloring in, they blend really nice together. And they come in 3 different packages, so stay tuned. When I do my catalog walkthrough, I will point them out. Here it's I'm trying to stay with the 3 clusters, you know, to create a triangle. So this one on top here is pretty much set. What I did with the stickers there, these are stickers from the sticker sheet, and I actually just cut them out of the sticker sheet so I can place them and see if I really like them. I like to do this a lot. And then I just take my embossing buddy with the powder and just take the stickiness off in the back, because I like to raise that one up. And I do this with a lot of my stickers. That just makes it easier to move around and play around with them. Like there, I didn't know I had 2 different strips with phrases that I pulled out, and I wasn't sure which one I want to use. So now that I'm kind of committing to what I like to do, I take the adhesive off so I can put some foam spacers underneath. But you don't have to watch me to go through all the individual things. So let's fast forward and look at the final results. All right, so let's adhere the last leaf onto our cluster here, and I would call this done. The brown leaves that you see sprinkled through those clusters, those are cork leaves, and they come from a special embellishment package that comes with this paper pack, and they're really nice. They're in different sizes. They pop out super easy, have adhesive on the back, and just really give it an extra little texture on your page. So, okay, here you can see again how those strips look like they go all the way across. And like I said, we didn't use a lot of paper for this one, so which is nice if you use a cardstock, a colored cardstock, or in my case, I just use white. And while I was looking at this, I thought, well, a little bit sparkle might be nice. So I'm gonna take the stickles, the distress stickles from it's called Vintage Photo, and I'm gonna use my little spatula tool and just squeeze out a little bit and scrape it on with my spatula, and to give it a little bit shine and a little bit sparkle. And naturally I'm doing this usually if you do this if you're completely okay with your layout and you're done, so you can put it aside and let it dry. I often have these ideas in the middle of doing something and then end up with smudges on my page because I forgot that it's wet still. So just a little tip, if you want to do some stickles in any form, do it way at the end when you're done with everything. All right, so there's a few sunflowers left. So I'm just smudging the stickles on here with my spatula, and when I'm done I just can toss the piece of plastic that I squirted my stickles on and clean my spatula, and I'm done. You can use your fingers, you can surely use the bottle and go directly on it, but I didn't want it to be too thick, and I didn't want my fingers to get all inky and gooed up because I know this stuff gets somehow everywhere if you're working with it. So let me finish those up, clean my spatula, and then we do some finishing touches with it. All right, so for the finishing touch, I am going to use these enamel dots, and these are from our current Cozy Up paper pack for fall. And this is one of the embellishment packages, and they are really cute. They come in multiple colors in each package and in multiple shapes. So there are dots, there are hearts, and there are little stars. Some have glitter in them, some are just plain color. So I'm just picking a few here and there and add them to the page. And I think best to see is when you look at the still shots at the end, how well they work color wise with this paper. So if you haven't seen our Gnomes for Autumn special yet, make sure to check it out. It's really a gorgeous paper, and there are not many gnomes on it, just a few. So and the backside of this paper has no gnomes at all. So it's really a pretty paper. I have another layout that's coming up, and I'm still having a ton of paper left, and I'm sure I will be able to make even more. So make sure to check out the next video with more ideas for a layout. But I thought I just gonna share this with you since it was pretty simple, easy to cut paper, and like I said, embellishments. If you have stamps at home, go use them. They make great embellishments, and it's so easy to match the colors when you have colored pencils to use or watercolors, whatever you have on hand. And it's really just a fun process to get them on your pages. And here you have it. I think we're good. So if you liked this layout and you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. My apologies that it was a little bit hiccupy, but like I said, I forgot to record. Oh yeah, and for journaling, so you can either use one of the spots that are dedicated to a picture as a journaling, or you can add a stamp for journaling, or just journaling strips. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.